To understand the dramatic showdown between Elijah and the prophets of Baal, we first need to explore the context of Elijah's time, marked by the rise of Baal worship in ancient Israel. Baal, a Canaanite god associated with rain, fertility, and agriculture, became increasingly venerated during this period. This shift in religious allegiance was prompted by the marriage of King Ahab of Israel to Jezebel, a Phoenician princess fervent in her devotion to Baal. Under Jezebel's influence, Baal worship gained royal endorsement, leading to the construction of altars and temples in Baal's honor, and the persecution of Yahweh's prophets, further threatening the traditional worship of the God of Israel. The significance of this context lies in its illustration of a broader cultural and spiritual conflict. Elijah's confrontation with the prophets of Baal is not just a test of divine power. It represents a pivotal moment of decision for the people of Israel, torn between their ancestral faith and the influence of neighboring cultures. This scenario reflects a timeless struggle between faith and cultural assimilation, resonating through history wherever communities have faced the erosion of traditional beliefs by external influences. In modern terms, we might see similar dynamics where traditional cultural or religious practices are overshadowed by the spread of global ideologies or consumer culture. For instance, indigenous communities worldwide grapple with the loss of heritage in the face of modernization. Similarly, the rise of secularism in societies historically rooted in religious traditions presents a parallel challenge. Supporters of maintaining traditional beliefs often argue that these practices offer a sense of identity, continuity, and moral grounding. Critics, however, sometimes view such adherence as resistance to progress or inclusivity. Controversies around this topic can include debates on religious freedom versus the imposition of belief systems, both in ancient times and today. For example, while some argue that the promotion of Baal worship undermined Israel's religious core, others might view it as an opportunity for cultural exchange or theological evolution. Elijah's confrontation with the prophets of Baal underscores the enduring tension between competing belief systems, providing insight into the broader narrative of religious identity. This context not only sets the stage for the dramatic events that follow, but also highlights the critical question of faith, a question that transcends time, urging individuals and communities alike to define their spiritual and cultural identities amidst changing landscapes. This dynamic interplay between faith, power, and culture is central to understanding the story's continuing relevance and its profound impact on religious history. The challenge on Mount Carmel. Setting the stage for confrontation refers to a dramatic biblical event that illustrates a contest of faith and divine power between the prophet Elijah and the prophets of Baal. This event is significant as it highlights the theme of belief versus idolatry, underscoring the conflict between monotheism represented by Elijah and polytheism represented by Baal's prophets. This showdown occurs during a time of spiritual and political turmoil in ancient Israel, where King Ahab and Queen Jezebel have promoted the worship of Baal, leading to a decline in the worship of Yahweh. Elijah challenges the prophets of Baal to a test on Mount Carmel to prove whose God is truly powerful. Each side prepares a sacrifice, and the deity that answers with fire is declared the true God. This event is pivotal as it reaffirms the supremacy of Yahweh, revitalizing the faith of the Israelites. In modern contexts, this story can be seen as a metaphor for the struggle between competing ideologies or worldviews. For instance, in the realm of science and religion, individuals often face the challenge of reconciling scientific understanding with spiritual beliefs. Another example is in the corporate world, where ethical leadership may clash with profit-driven motives, challenging leaders to remain true to their core values while delivering tangible results. Supporters of this biblical narrative emphasize its enduring message about the power of faith and the necessity of standing firm in one's beliefs amidst opposition. They argue that the story of Mount Carmel provides a timeless lesson on the importance of conviction and the courage to challenge prevailing systems. However, this narrative is not without its controversies. Critics raise challenges regarding the historical accuracy of the story, suggesting it may be allegorical rather than literal. Others question its applicability in a modern, pluralistic society where multiple belief systems coexist. There is also the potential for misuse of this narrative in justifying religious exclusivity or intolerance. The event on Mount Carmel connects deeply with the broader theme of Elijah's life and mission, which involves challenging idolatry and calling the people back to authentic worship of Yahweh. This confrontation sets the stage for further actions by Elijah that aim to restore religious integrity in Israel. It influences the narratives of resistance against spiritual compromise and the quest for genuine faith in the face of societal pressures. Ultimately, the showdown serves as a profound reminder of the ongoing tension between competing loyalties, urging individuals to discern and affirm their beliefs in pursuit of a higher truth. The role of Elijah as a prophet against the odds is a captivating facet of the narrative of Elijah and the prophets of Baal. Elijah, a central figure in this biblical story, stands as a lone and resolute advocate of faith in Yahweh amidst a prevailing culture of idolatry in ancient Israel, where King Ahab and Queen Jezebel have wholeheartedly embraced the worship of Baal. This concept underscores Elijah's remarkable courage and steadfast faith as he confronts not only physical danger, but spiritual isolation, making him a symbol of unwavering conviction in a hostile environment. The significance of this point in relation to the main topic lies in its illustration of the strength of personal belief against overwhelming societal pressure. Elijah's role is pivotal. He becomes the embodiment of divine will and righteousness, challenging the legitimacy and power of the prophets of Baal. This sets the stage for the dramatic showdown on Mount Carmel, where Elijah's faith and divine backing are contrasted starkly with the impotence of Baal's prophets, emphasizing the narrative's moral and theological themes. In terms of real-world applications, consider leaders and activists who, like Elijah, stand firm in their convictions against pervasive and opposing societal norms. For example, Mahatma Gandhi's nonviolent resistance against British colonial rule in India echoes Elijah's solitary stand against the might of an entire religious system. Similarly, Martin Luther King's unwavering commitment to civil rights in the face of entrenched racial injustice mirrors the courage that Elijah displayed. Supporters of Elijah's role often highlight the story as an archetype of moral leadership and divine justice. The narrative reassures believers that faith, even when solitary, is a powerful force capable of enacting change and revealing truth. However, challenges to this concept arise in discussions about the implications of absolute belief and the potential for religious conflict. Critics may argue that such narratives could be interpreted as justifying conflict against those with differing beliefs. This point connects to other aspects of the main topic by emphasizing the ultimate victory of faith and divine power over falsehood and idolatry, which is the narrative's central theme. Elijah's role as a prophet against the odds not only highlights his personal fortitude, but also serves as a catalyst for broader religious and cultural transformation, reinforcing the story's enduring impact across religious and historical contexts. The prophets of Baal were religious figures in ancient Canaanite culture, serving the god Baal, who was considered a prominent deity associated with rain, fertility, and agriculture. Baal worship involved various rituals and practices, often including elaborate ceremonies, offerings, and sacrifices intended to invoke the deity's favor and ensure prosperity. Baal was seen as a powerful force capable of influencing the natural world, and the prophets acted as intermediaries to convey the desires of the people to their God. This point is critical to understanding the showdown on Mount Carmel between Elijah and the prophets of Baal. The event was more than a mere competition. It was a significant confrontation of belief systems. Elijah, a prophet of Yahweh, challenged the prophets of Baal to demonstrate the power of their God, making it a direct contest between two opposing religious ideologies. This not only tested the effectiveness of Baal's advocates, but also questioned the validity of their belief system in contrast to the monotheistic worship of Yahweh. An example of Baal worship's practices includes the ritual of sacrifice, often involving animals, and, as some scholars suggest, occasionally humans, to appease or gain favor from Baal. Another example is the communal feasting and dances which were thought to please the deity and, in turn, would ensure bountiful harvests and fertility within the community. These practices illustrate the integral role of Baal worship in the socio-religious fabric of ancient communities. The story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal invokes various opinions, with many viewing it as a demonstration of divine power, favoring monotheism over polytheism. The narrative is often cited as a critical turning point in the religious history of the Israelites, emphasizing the supremacy of Yahweh. However, the account also invites controversy, as some argue that it depicts an oversimplification of religious dynamics, portraying Baal worship solely as a misguided practice. Challenges associated with this concept include differing interpretations of ancient texts and the potential historical bias present in biblical accounts, which may understate the complexity and sincerity behind Canaanite religious practices. Additionally, from an archaeological perspective, evidence related to Baal worship must be carefully analyzed to avoid conflating distinct ancient cultures. This point connects deeply with the broader narrative of Elijah and his efforts to reaffirm the Israelites' faith in Yahweh. The confrontation with the prophets of Baal not only highlights the differences in belief, but acts as a catalyst for the subsequent redemption and recommitment of the people to their monotheistic tradition, underscoring the enduring tension between competing religious ideologies throughout history.